Welcome back to the Daily Taoist with Will S. We are talking about the Tao Te Ching and how to get back into spirit and alignment with the way. I will be your guide on this journey. Today I am talking about verse 62. The Tao Te Ching was written around 2,500 years ago by a man named Lao-Tzu. It is one of the oldest texts in existence and certainly one of the wisest. Its wisdom is timeless and its message is as relevant and important now as it was back then, if not more so. It is vital that we learn to come back into balance with the natural world, to live in a more harmonious and selfless way, and the Tao Te Ching beautifully instructs us in bringing ourselves and our lives in alignment with the Tao. Verse 62. The Tao is the true nature, the secret source of everything. It is the man's treasure and the bad man's refuge. If a person seems wicked, do not cast them away. Awaken them with your words, elevate them with your deeds, repay his injury with kindness. When a new leader takes office, do not give him gifts and offerings. Offer instead to teach him about the Tao. Why did the ancient masters esteem the Tao? Because being one with the Tao, you find without looking, and when you make a mistake, you are forgiven. It is the source of all good and the remedy for all evil. It is the most noble thing in the world. There's absolutely no doubt that in this world we often have to deal with wicked people. Those are who are so misaligned and dysfunctional that they cause untold misery for themselves and all those around them. Relating with such people can be an enormous challenge. Lao Tzu gently advises us to embrace rather than reject them and to shine a light into the darkness around and within them. In spite of all appearances, the darkness can never harm the light, for it is merely the absence of light. If you walk into a dark room, you deal with the darkness by switching on a light. And if it's gone, it's just like that. It may not seem quite so simple when dealing with people, for many tend to cling to their darkness, also known as their shadow, making identity out of it, but the principle remains the same. It is worth bearing in mind that we should try not to force others to change, but to simply accept and embrace them, and in doing so, help them to become more of what they are capable of being. Um, Good verse. Lots of tidbits of wisdom in here. It's something I struggle with a lot, I think, because I think what Lao Tzu is saying in here is that you have to not control others, right? When he says, "Do not force others to change." Well, that's Rory's interpretation, but um, see, a new leader takes office. Do not give him gifts and offerings. Offer instead to teach him about the Tao, right? If you make right, if you find what you're looking without looking, you make a mistake, you are forgiven. The source of all good, a remedy for all evil. It's the most noble thing in the world. Right. I struggle with this one. I think a lot of people do. If a person seems wicked, do not cast them away. Like, what is our first response when somebody treats you like shit? Right. Our first response is to want to treat that person like shit as well. Right. If somebody is nasty to you, it's human instinct, I think, to just write them off and you know, oh, that's SOB, that son of a bitch. How could he do that to me? Um, I don't know what to say. I've gone through a version of this over the last 1 to 3 years. Uh, I have had to cut people out of my life because of it, because I do not tolerate negativity in my life. Um, right? If you are still, like they say, in the darkness, clinging to your shadow, if you have not worked or tried to work through your own trauma loops, it's no good. I personally, I have been hospitalized several times. I have done the work required on my trauma, and I'm not saying that I'm a perfect person and all my trauma is just magically gone. Because trauma tends to just it sits in your body, right? If you don't know what you don't know or what you don't what it's like blockages. It's an energy blockage, right? And then that leads to manifesting itself as disease and other sorts of nastiness in the body. Um, but this verse is more about talking about how to how to not dismiss wicked people, but also don't let them into your fields of energy as well, right? You can do your best to help somebody out, but if they don't want to help themselves, then it's not your job to save the world. And that's something that I'm quietly learning, right? It's not your job. It is not, I repeat, I it is not your job to save the world. Okay. You need to save yourself first, put on your own life preserver, and then you can help others. But it is not your job to save the world. Okay. If you guys are listening to this, I know this one is a little bit of just jointed. It's kind of a weird verse, but I love each and every one of you here on the Daily Taoist. I am available for coaching. I'm available on my Patreon. I don't have a Patreon yet, but I might set one up. I have multiple coaching links. I have my Facebook page. I have my Instagram and Twitter. I'm still not going to do a TikTok unless I'm absolutely forced to, but I don't think that's the way for me. Um, Compliments again to the essay go to Rory at the Daily Tao blogspot.com. Thank you, Rory, for your essays. I'm sure they're helping a lot of people, not just me. If you like the content, follow, like, subscribe, share it. Um, you know, Buy me a coffee on the website would be nice. Again, I don't know where this podcast is going. I'm just a guy learning, relearning, and sharing my my point of view on the world about through the lens of the Tao Te Ching. Okay. Uh, Namaste.